But to take your question to Edward Luce, who's with the Financial Times in Washington, D.C., one of the most respected observers there. Ed Luce, the question I asked Raj Chengappa, what does this Super Wednesday, this overtime election suggest to you, and the manner in which Trump has responded, virtually calling the election a fraud? Does that suggest to you that America is in for a prolonged process of uncertainty?
I'd like to give a definitive answer to that, Rajdeep, but right now it's a little bit cloudy. Last night when Trump first tweeted, then came out with this allegation that there's fraud going on, he didn't have too many people behind him. He didn't get much of an echo across the Republican Party, which suggests that there is some pessimism that he would be able to do much with it, or that the courts would respond favorably to that. But, you know, we're still counting. We're still seeing counting in Pennsylvania. We're still seeing counting in Georgia. We're still seeing counting in Wisconsin and Michigan. Some question mark over whether Arizona did go for Biden. And whilst all of that is up in the air, it would be foolish to give a definitive prediction as to how this is going to end out. But, you know, Trump, I think, as he's proved consistently over the last 4 years, is capable of doing what he threatens he will do.
But isn't that worrying for you that you've got what some are calling an unhinged president, and you've got on the other side someone who could be a lame duck president, because the Senate could well stay with the Republicans. So you've got a 78-year-old potentially lame duck president, and you've got a 73-year-old potentially unhinged president. I mean, what does that suggest, Ed Luce, for America?
It suggests that America's ungovernability becomes worse, not better, with this election, and that's saying something. Biden will almost certainly, if he wins, have to deal with a Republican Senate. So Mitch McConnell, the Republican Senate leader, essentially won last night, which would mean that very little of Biden, what Biden wants to push through in terms of reflating this pandemic economy, in terms of stricter national social distancing guidelines, a coronavirus plan, very little of that will get through a Republican-controlled Senate. And therefore, there'll be no 100-day honeymoon for Joe Biden. And at 78, you know, he needs that 100-day honeymoon. Trump, in the meantime, has, if he loses, 11 weeks remaining as president, with the full panoply of awesome powers available to America's president to do with what he likes. And, you know, the word scorched earth does come to mind.
Well, that's very frightening what you're suggesting. The possibility that 11 weeks of Donald Trump, if he doesn't win, could lead to a possible scorched earth politics in America.